Hey guys, welcome back to Cyber Hack. And today I'm going to be going over how not to become a millionaire by becoming a security engineer, analyst, CISO. You're never going to be a millionaire. And that is just the truth. But you will earn a decent living expense income and also the ability to take vacation once a year for 2 weeks, right? So anyway, I'm just messing with you guys. So today I wanted to go through some of the interesting things that I spoke with a recruiter on. Actually, a friend of mine spoke to a recruiter, and this was mentioned that apparently right now, middle managers, middle management, right? Anyone who's in like a cybersecurity engineer, management manager, whatever it is, that apparently their pay is not that much more, if not just only equal to probably one of the top engineers in that team. So you're basically getting an engineer or a cybersecurity expert, and they're not a manager, making more, well, probably equal, if not a little bit more or a little bit less, from the manager who is, pretty much managing that team that he's on or she is on, right? So that's pretty interesting to hear. Now, I was explaining, and we had this interesting discussion. It was like, and then we finally got to the topic of, CISOs, how much they make, right? More or less, most of them. And I say most of them. I know a few, and they're probably, you know, they're in like the quarter million, right? That sounds better than 200 plus or 250,000, right? $250,000 a year. And of course, anyone who knows that you work a 9 to 5, you're not going to be a millionaire unless you start your own company or you start your own security consulting firm, and you're racking in the clients and you're making tons of money from that. And then that's a whole different case. But working as a security engineer or an analyst or a pen tester, you're probably going to be making, depending on the organization and the company that you work for, you're probably going to be making, like, let's just say average $120,000 to $150,000 a year, right? And of course, depending on where you live, what state, 150,000, I could tell you right now, would be awesome if you were living in Texas, but 150,000 living in New York City, and if you have family or kids or whatnot, it becomes a little different, right? Because the taxes in each city and state is so like all over the place, right? You could live in Florida where you would not get any state. No, I believe you don't get any income tax there, but in New York, it's a whole different story. So obviously, depending on the state, you would get taxed accordingly. And because of that, your salary, usually the corporation, depending on the corporation, they would pay you according to where you live as your primary residence. So that does play a huge factor. So my point of this is that CISOs in general, we're going to take the roles of the CISO and how much they make, and then you have to filter down from there. Okay. Now, there are some websites that are just like ridiculously crazy ranges for CISO positions, and I'm going to go through that with you guys right now. But before we do that, here's a few websites. ZipRecruiter says CISO salaries in New York make 111,000. That's insane. I don't know what year this is from, but this is BS in my opinion. As of August 13, 20, the average is $53 an hour. I'm trying to look for annual. There you go. Okay, here you go. Well, these are CISO. Okay, this is a little bit better. This is a little bit better. Chief Information Security Officer, 176,000. Okay, I could tell you right now, for a CISO role in my organization, they don't make that much. I'm actually not too far from them, and so it really depends on the organization. Now, I know for a fact, any state or city agency federal positions, they're slightly lower in comparison to a private organization, and I'll go through that as well. And this is another one from ZipRecruiter, which is a little confusing, right? So they have the CISO here. I don't know where they get this number from. Right here, national average. So they're averaging from 183 all the way down to 55. What CISO's making 55,000, right? And here we have a chief information security, which is the same CISO in New York. And now this is 321,000, and as low as 23. I don't know about that. So I don't know how this average is coming. It looks pretty ridiculous in my opinion. But let's go to something more, a little more concrete and look a little more attractive. If you're a CISO in the US, you're making average about $230,000. And this is where I said the crazy range comes from. The 120, which usually, in my opinion, even a security analyst, junior one, is making more than that in New York City. I've seen positions where cybersecurity analysts in New York City right now is like 130,000, easy, right? 120, like, oh, no one would touch that. Maybe some would, but I wouldn't. And others earning as much as 900,000. Where the hell is that CISO job coming? Which security team is this? I want to be part of this team, right? So a huge factor. And let's go over to salary.com. We're averaging around 280. So it wasn't too far off from 230 to 280. I mean, that's a slight increase, right? A decent amount of increase. I would love to have $60,000 more in my pocket. And the medium is 280,000. But their 90 percentile is 350,000. So I don't know where this 900,000, this huge range is coming from, right? So as you're doing your investigation for what the top guy makes all the way down to the little guys, and you're seeing an average of a $280,000 for a CISO position, you have to start wondering, like, if that's the case, if he's only making that much, how much is my top tier going to make unless I become a CISO, right? So obviously no one's going to become a millionaire from working a 9 to 5. We all know about, if you don't know about, I say we, but if you don't know about working and doing a 9 to 5, you don't become a millionaire doing that. You may have an honest living, which is fine, but if you want an amount more than that, then definitely a 9 to 5 in any profession will not get you there, okay? Unless you really start throwing everything you have into your retirement. But of course, I'm not an advocate of crazy retirement investing, because I would like to live life a little bit now. Also, I want to go and do things now. I would like to buy things now and not just save everything till I'm like retired, right? So that was my little rant. So what am I getting at today with this CISO 280,000 average 250? All right, we're looking at these salaries, and you guys are probably like, oh, this would be awesome if I could make 200,000. Me too. I would love that. This is okay, but it could be better than this, right? And definitely anything better than this. But I know you guys are starting off, some of you guys, and you're wondering like, oh, how would I make the most if I'm actually starting cybersecurity? It really depends on the corporation and the company you're looking for. Now, I've had my own experience. I've worked in the financial industry, and you really have to test your luck sometimes. There was a position that was presented to me, $180,000, right? And this was not even a CISO position. This was just a VP of, data loss prevention. And because of that, it was with a big financial firm, right? They have bonuses, but their bonuses will never be documented as part of your, commitment or your offer letter. It really depends on the year, if the company is profitable or not. So when that happens, it's like, okay, but consensus is that if it does do well, since it's not documented, you would get a certain percentage of your salary as a bonus, whether it's 20%, 30%, 40%. I've heard and I've been offered in the past as much as 70 to 80% of your salary at the end of the year. So you basically 100,000 plus the 80% of that. It's insane, right? Of course, you're still going to get taxed, but you're still getting taxed on all that extra money. So can you become a millionaire? Yes, if you save and you reinvest it to different avenues to grow your wealth. Yes, that's fine. But it's really dependent on the industry. Now, and you're probably saying like, so how come you didn't take that job? Well, it was presented to me that way. It didn't guarantee that I was going to get it, right? Unfortunately, they already had someone else in mind, and I was passed on the offer, which was a downer because I knew that this 180,000 plus the 60% bonus or whatever it was would make a huge impact on my day-to-day living, right? I could afford things that I probably can't afford now. So what am I trying to say? Like, and where I am now, we have zero bonuses. Unfortunately, that's how it plays out. So I think when you're applying for jobs, and I know some of you may be like, oh, I'll be happy just as long as I get a job. But that progression, and the company try to retain their top talent by giving you incentives to stay, which is bonuses, more holidays or extra vacation days, and increasing your pay rates, right? And because the corporation, depending on the size of it, if they're big enough, they would offer you, to grow, meaning they'll put you into a management position. Nothing is probably going to stop you from becoming the CISO unless you truly believe that that's not something you want to do, because you start throwing all your technical knowledge out the door at that point. It's good to know it, but you definitely shouldn't even be touching it or dealing with the daily operations of it. All right. So that's where I am today. Becoming, working for cybersecurity, becoming a CISO is definitely a next challenge step. And some of you may not even consider that at all. I'm still up in the air whether, if that offer was presented to me, would I take it or not, right? And I have seen positions where, for CISO positions, for myself, and I didn't even start to say I want to, make 280,000. My base when I was talking to a recruiter was, maybe like 220. I would be comfortable at 220, and you guys would be like, holy cow, 220, that's like 3 times the amount what I'm making now. It will be comfortable. All right. So that's where I am. Basically what I'm saying is, you're not going to become a millionaire working for a 9 to 5, any position, any career, and especially in cybersecurity, where the chief information security officer is making 250,000, average 280. So there are challenges. So you have to take that into consideration. Yeah, do you want to grow into this field? And if you do, because you feel like it'll be an honest career and honest living, great. Aim for what you can, and also aim for the corporations that offer you these incentives. Some of them offer you nothing, and you just be at that base salary, for a very long time, and maybe you won't be able to put up with that, and you start looking and venturing out to different industries and different companies so you can grow, because as your knowledge is growing, your worth should be more, and you should be compensated for that. All right. I want to thank you guys. Please remember to hit that like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again really soon. Bye.